Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. So, welcome everyone, and today is Nirjala Ekadashi. The description of Nirjala Ekadashi, which occurs during the month of May-June, is found in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana in the conversation between Vyasadeva and Bhimasen. Once, Bhimasen, the younger brother of Yudhishthira, inquired from the great sage Srila Vyasadeva, "O most learned and worshipable grandfather, please hear my request. My elder brother Yudhishthira, mother Kunti Devi, brothers Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadev, and Draupadi do not eat anything on the day of Ekadashi. They, especially Yudhishthira, always tell me that I should also fast on Ekadashi. But I always tell them that though I know that to fast on Ekadashi is an injunction of the scriptures, I cannot bear my hunger, and therefore I am unable to fast. I can give in charity as per my capacity, I can worship Lord Keshava with proper rules and regulations, but I cannot fast. So please instruct me, how can I obtain the result of Ekadashi without having to fast?" On hearing these words of Bhimasen, Srila Vyasadeva said, "O Bhim, if you want to go to the heavenly planets and avoid the hellish planets, then you must refrain from eating on both the Ekadashis of each month." Bhima said, "O great sage, it is impossible for me to observe fast on 24 Ekadashis every year, as instructed by the Lord. What to speak of fasting day and night? I cannot even tolerate my hunger for even a moment. The fire of hunger, known as brika, is always present within my stomach, and it is extinguished only by voracious eating. But with great endeavor I can fast only one day in a year. Therefore, please instruct me about a vow that I can follow to attain auspiciousness both in this life and the next." Sri Vyasadeva said, "O king, you have already heard from me about the Vedic religious principles and the duties of the human beings. But in this age of Kali, not everyone is capable of following those rules and regulations. Therefore, I will tell you about a sublime method by which you can achieve great results. This method is the essence of all the Puranas. Anyone who observes the Ekadashis of waning and waxing moons by fasting never goes to hell." Hearing Vyasadev's words, that strongest warrior Bhimasen became frightened and shivered like a leaf on a banyan tree and said, "O grandfather, what should I do? I am totally unable to fast twice a month throughout the year. Therefore, O my Lord, kindly instruct me about one vow that awards the most merit and how by observing it I can achieve all benefits." Then Sri Vyasadeva replied, "The Ekadashi which occurs during the waxing moon in the month of May-June, during the sun's presence in either Taurus or Gemini Rasi, is called Nirjala Ekadashi. One should observe total fast, even from drinking water in this Ekadashi. On this day one should perform Achaman for purification by drinking that amount of water in which a single mustard seed or a drop of gold can be immersed. One should place the said amount of water in his palm, held in such a way as to resemble a cow's ear. If one drinks more or less water than this, it will amount to drinking of wine. One must not eat anything at all on this Ekadashi, otherwise his vow will be broken. One should not drink even water from the movement of sunrise from the day of Ekadashi until the sunrise on the day of Dwadashi. In this way, if one strictly observes this Ekadashi without drinking water, then he can attain the results of observing all the Ekadashis of the year. In the early morning on the day of Dwadashi, one should take bath and give gold and water in charity to the Brahmins. Thereafter, the follower should gladly eat with the Brahmins." O Bhimasen, now please hear about the piety one accumulates by observing this Ekadashi. By following this Ekadashi, one can achieve the result of following all the Ekadashis throughout the year. Once, Lord Vishnu, who holds a conch, a disc, a club, and a lotus flower in his hand, told me, "If a person gives up all varieties of religion and surrenders unto me and follows this Nirjala Ekadashi, which is very dear to me, he is certainly relieved of all sinful reactions." One cannot attain the supreme destination by giving wealth in charity, or attain any benefit by following smarter rules and regulations in the Kali Yuga. In fact, the Vedic religious principles have been extinct in this age of Kali, which is polluted with various faults. O son of Vayu, what more can I tell you? Eating is actually prohibited on all the Ekadashis, and even the drinking of water is prohibited on Nirjala Ekadashi. By observing this Ekadashi, one achieves the piety of visiting all the holy places. At the time of death, such a person is not approached by the fierce-looking Yamadutas. Rather, he is approached by the divine-looking Vishnu-dutas to be transferred to the abode of Vishnu. If one gives water and cows in charity after observing this Ekadashi, then he is freed from all his sinful activities. When the other Pandavas heard about the glories of this Ekadashi, they resolved to observe it. From that day onward, Bhimasen began observing this Nirjala Ekadashi, which became famous as Pandava Nirjala or Bhimseni Ekadashi. By following this Ekadashi, sinful activities as huge as Sumeru or Mandara mountain are at once burned to ashes. O King, Lord Krishna has declared that any pious activities such as taking bath in holy places, giving charity, chanting Vedic mantras, and performing sacrifices that are carried out on this Nirjala Ekadashi day become inexhaustible. One who reads or hears the glories of this Ekadashi with devotion goes back to the abode of Vaikuntha. The result one attains by observing the vow of Amavasya, conjoined with Pratipad, and offering oblations to the forefathers during the solar eclipse, is attained simply by hearing the glories of this Ekadashi. Ekadashi Nirjala Ki Jai.